CIA began tracking months ago. The final Christmas authorization: 150 aircrafts, cyber ops, precision strikes. How Maduro's capture was planned. Understanding the high-risk operation.
In August of 2025, a clandestine team of Central Intelligence Agency officers entered Venezuela on a covert mission. Their task was to gather intelligence on Nicolas Maduro, the country's president, whom the Trump administration had designated as a narco-terrorist. The CIA team moved about Caracas, remaining undetected for months while it was in the country. The intelligence gathered about the Venezuelan leader's daily movements was combined with a human source close to Maduro, as well as a fleet of stealth drones flying secretly above. This enabled the agency to map out minute details about his routine movements. The United States knew where Maduro moved, what he ate, and even what pets he kept. With the US embassy closed, the CIA officers could not operate under the cloak of diplomatic cover. But even though this was a dangerous mission, it proved to be successful as the information gathered laid the groundwork for Operation Absolute Resolve. And yesterday, a pre-dawn raid by elite US Army Delta Force commandos resulted in the extraction of Maduro to the United States, who will now stand on trial in New York. But how did the 2-hour, 28-minute operation pan out? Hello and welcome to Explained by NewsX with me, Uday Pratap Singh. We're going to take a detailed look at Operation Absolute Resolve today. In the run-up to the operation, Delta Force units rehearsed the extraction inside a full-scale replica of Maduro's compound. The mock facility was constructed by Joint Special Operations Command in Kentucky. Operators practiced breaching steel doors, navigating tight hallways, and extracting a high-value target under fire. The goal was speed to reach the target, secure him, and leave before Venezuelan forces could mount a coordinated response. At the same time, the United States quietly surged military assets into the region. Aircrafts, drones, electronic warfare platforms, and special operation forces were positioned in advance of the raid. But even though President Trump authorized the mission as early as 25th December, he left the precise timing to Pentagon planners. In the meantime, Maduro rotated amongst multiple locations, sometimes without advance warning. Apart from this, weather delays too pushed the operation back several days. Thus, officials at the Pentagon waited for a narrow window when conditions aligned, clear skies, reduced civilian presence, and confirmation of Maduro's location. However, the holiday period helped the Americans. Many Venezuelan government officials and military personnel were on leave, reducing the risk of resistance. And thus, at 10:46 p.m. on the 1st of January, Trump gave the final go-ahead. Listen.
At my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II.
Now, the operation itself did not begin with choppers or aircrafts, but with a cyber attack. US forces cut power across large parts of Caracas, plunging the city into darkness and concealing the approach of aircrafts. Then more than 150 US aircrafts participated in the operation, drawn from the US Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps. These included the Lockheed Martin F-22A Raptor, Lockheed Martin F-35AC Lightning II, Boeing FA-18EF Super Hornet, Boeing EA-18G Growler, Grumman E-2D Hawkeye, Rockwell B-1B Lancer, Boeing CH-47F Chinook, Boeing AH-64E Apache, Sikorsky UH-60M Black Hawk, other support aircraft, and numerous unmanned aerial vehicles, including the Lockheed Martin RQ-170 Sentinel. These were launched from multiple US bases and naval vessels in the region. Warplanes soon struck Venezuelan radar sites and air defense systems. In fact, reports suggested that the explosions may have occurred at Generalissimo Francisco de Miranda Air Base, at La Carlota and Fort Tiona, two Venezuelan military installations in the area. Additionally, large explosions were also reported at Higuerote Airport. This assault cleared the path for the Delta Force operators. Helicopters from the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, known as the Night Stalkers, carried the Delta Force soldiers into Caracas. Even though one helicopter was damaged by Venezuelan ground defenses, it continued on its mission. At approximately 2:01 a.m. Caracas local time, the helicopters set down at Maduro's compound. Delta Force operators moved rapidly through the building. According to US officials, it took just 3 minutes after breaching the door to reach Maduro. He and his wife attempted to flee into a reinforced safe room, but were intercepted before they could secure it. And within 5 minutes, Maduro was in US custody. An FBI hostage negotiator was on hand in case the Venezuelan leader refused to surrender, but he did not. As the raid unfolded, Trump followed the operation in real time from a secure room at Mar-a-Lago, watching live video feeds relayed from overhead aircrafts. By 4:29 a.m. Caracas local time, Maduro and his wife were airborne, transferred to the USS Iwo Jima in the Caribbean. Following this, they were taken to Guantanamo Bay, and from there an FBI aircraft flew them to New York, where Maduro is now to stand trial. Maduro faces charges of narco-terrorism, conspiracy, cocaine importation conspiracy, possession of machine guns and destructive devices, and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices against the US. US authorities allege that powerful and violent drug trafficking organizations such as the Sinaloa cartel and Tren de Aragua gang worked directly with the Venezuelan government and then sent profits to high-ranking officials who helped and protected them in exchange. Listen.
The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison responsible for the deaths of countless Americans. Many Americans, hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now they're on a ship they'll be heading to, ultimately New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida.
Meanwhile, in Washington, the operation has already sparked intense debates across legal, diplomatic and political circles. Some lawmakers have praised the action as a necessary enforcement of US indictments, while others have questioned its legal basis under American and international law, considering the fact that congressional approval was not taken before striking another sovereign country. Legal scholars note that the forcible removal of a sitting head of state without the consent of the host nation could set a far-reaching precedent. Additionally, reactions from other countries have been swift and sharply divided. Several Latin American governments condemned, such as Colombia and Chile, the raid as a violation of Venezuelan sovereignty, warning that it could undermine regional stability. Russia and China have meanwhile called for an emergency session of the United Nations Security Council, arguing that the operation risks normalizing the use of military force for law enforcement objectives. Inside Venezuela, even as Maduro loyalist Delcy Rodriguez has taken charge, the power vacuum left by his removal has raised questions about who controls the state apparatus, including the military and security services. For now, US officials insist the operation is complete and that Maduro will face the wrath of the American justice system. What pans out next remains to be seen, but what we witnessed till now perhaps is the most significant unilateral US operation against a sitting foreign head of state in recent history.
CIA began tracking months ago. The final Christmas authorization. 150 aircrafts, cyber ops, precision strikes. How Maduro's capture was planned. Understanding the high-risk operation.